lot, like it won't screw your
Okay.
your thing up.
Well, then
Because otherwise,
I'll send it to you.
yeah, that's cool.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. I'm going to get, well, did you want to do this part first or what do you want to do first? Did you have news or anything to present, like the news or updates?
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of news. The latest bit I saw, I mean, we haven't done this in like, geez, almost half a year at this point, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we had massive news with FTX. We covered that in the last time we all got together. There was some more fallout there with Signature Bank and Silvergate Bank, and that seems to, at least for now, have stopped. There was a lot of implications going around, and I'm just shooting off the cuff here.
Yeah.
There are a lot of implications and accusations going around from Silvergate and Signature that because they had such high crypto had a lot of crypto clients, that was an intentional attack by the Fed and the government against them. That obviously is unproven. I don't think we'll ever really know one way or another. But I don't know about that one. And then the other big news that I think is most relevant for people here is Binance has gotten sued by the Attorney General of New York, and I believe the CFTC as well. There's a lot of really bad stuff in that indictment. It looks like they got into Telegram channels and Slack channels and stuff like that. One of the guys who was being, I forget the individual's name, but the guy who was supposed to be their chief compliance and regulatory officer, they referred to him as like their chief money laundering officer. Like if that's not intent, I don't know what is. Like there's some bad news going on there. So my personal recommendation, not financial advice, do your own research. I would get your funds off Binance US and Binance.com if you have any. Some of the other major accusations, and this is kind of true, that Binance.com, while not being legal to be used in the US, they weren't stopping anybody. They weren't really restricting anybody. They weren't, IP blocking the US region from Binance.com, which is kind of a shame because all the cool tokens that I think we all want to get into are on Binance.com and not on Binance.us. So it's a big carrot and stick situation there. Outside of that, we saw a pop up relatively recently, kissed 30K and then dropped back down. I don't know if that's the dollar going down or Bitcoin going up. Ethereum has had a similar move. I think that's really the broad strokes that I'm aware of. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, the biggest one, everything you said is 100%. And I need to get my money out of Binance.us. But the bigger piece for Ethereum is the Shapella upgrade, where they finished the proof of stake upgrade. So now you can remove your staking rewards where they were locked since the conversion. So I was expecting it to go down because people were going to sell off, but it actually went up. So it's kind of counterintuitive, but I'll take it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I completely forgot about that. I expected it to go down as well. Did you see, I have not, but did you see if there was a graph that showed locked Ethereum being redeemed?
Yeah, I can't, there's a small percentage. Now everyone can't redeem at once. There's some controls. But it looked like, from what I read, and I don't know the exact statistics, but it was mainly staking rewards that were being redeemed, not their staked ether. So they leaving their 32 ETH staked, but then redeeming their awards. And I can't remember, it's like 2 million ETH or something. Don't quote me on that. It was a very, very small percentage of the staked ETH, and mainly redeeming the rewards or staking.
Yeah, sweet.
So, which is great.
Wasn't Gemini being investigated by somebody as well? It really catches my interest. That's why.
Say it again, Chris. Who?
Gemini was being
really?
attacked by one of the regulatory agencies, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty much, so Gemini, Coinbase, pretty much everybody, and again, this is just from memory, they were hit by, I think it was the SEC for the way their staking programs were advertised. Because the rewards was paid out in crypto, that's being deemed and designated as selling unlicensed securities. So that's what I'm aware of most recently. There's obviously the whole other issue with Gemini Earn as a whole, and oh my gosh, Digital Currency Group, Barry Silbert's organization, and the Grayscale Bitcoin and Ethereum trusts being kind of related and lending each other, interest-free loans for 10 years to try and keep the ship afloat. But that was, I think that was, I want to say November of 22. So I think we covered that in the last meeting a little bit. And there hasn't been any real resolution or progress made on that situation or the BlockFi bankruptcy either.
Yeah.
So what's your thought on the Earn? Do you think they're gonna ever pay out?
You're coming through a little robot-y there, Julia. What was the
Sorry.
first part?
What are you thinking about Gemini Earn? Do you think they will get the money to investors?
That's interesting. I don't think you'll get a 100% redemption. It depends on how they target it. There's a lot of goodwill to be earned by redeeming, 90 some odd % of the small fish, the small contributors. I don't know if that's the direction they're going to go. I've been following the court comments from BlockFi's proceedings to kind of use that as an indicator as to what Barry Silbert's group will do. The difference there being, Barry Silbert's whole digital currency group corporate infrastructure is still solvent with the Grayscale Bitcoin and Ethereum trusts. So if they really, really wanted to, they would be able to make everybody whole. But it would conversely tank the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and Ethereum Trust. So, it's robbing Peter to pay Paul, almost literally. So I don't know what they're going to do there. I haven't really heard any news on that one for a hot minute after the big Twitter feud with Barry Silbert and then the Winklevi. I've actually been disappointed in the way the Winklevoss twins have been handling that, because they basically said they were duped, which, okay, sure, that's probably true. But if you're going to bring something to your investors at that scale, maybe do a little more due diligence first. And, don't be a little bit more upfront with, hey, this isn't being stored with Gemini. This is being stored with a third-party company that we know, like, and trust, to use a phrase that Jim likes to use. That relationship, if you dug into the fine print, it was absolutely clear. But there was a lot of misconceptions in the way it was being advertised and promoted on their website. So, I didn't look too deep into it. And I don't think a lot of other people did.
Yeah. So I have not a lot of, but I have a little bit with Gemini Earn.
Yeah.
And the way I read it, that it was there were multiple companies that they were lending money to. I didn't realize it was a single source that they were lending through.
Right. Right. And then at that point, like, as soon as it goes into that single other company's hands, everything is a black box. We don't know who else they're lending it to, what tokens they're in, et cetera. It's just all opaque.
Yeah.
So that answer your question, Julia and Chris?
Yes, I'm good.
Cool. Any other general questions before we turn on screen sharing and figure out how to recoup all these losses with trading bots?
I don't know about that, but it's an interesting strategy. Okay. I'm going to share this tab again. And I'm going to go full screen. All right. Can you see my screen? Good to go. Okay. Make sure I'm not muted. All right. So tonight we're going to go through the crypto grid bot trading. It's a strategy where you can use you can put your crypto to work and make passive income with your crypto. So I had ChatGPT write me this little disclaimer. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment and general education purposes only. I'm not telling you what to do or how to do it. I'm going to show you what I've been doing. The other thing is I haven't had any formal training on what I'm going to show you. I've learned it through the School of Hard Knocks and making dumb decisions and learning as I went. I will say there is a formal training. It's called The Plan. I know several people in the LFI group that have taken it. I have not taken it. And to that point, if you hear something either watching the video or tonight and that's contrary to what you understand, or you have a better way, then please speak up, because this is learning opportunity. I'm not presenting myself as an expert. I'm just presenting what I've been doing and making money at. So first, what is grid bot trading? Basically, you buy the dip and you sell the rip. So you are using a bot and a set of grid lines, which we're going to go through in a lot more detail. Oh, and by the way, I'm not going to do a lot of PowerPoint. A lot of this is going to be a demo, but I want to give you the basics. So we buy low and sell high. So as the price action is moving, we're buying on the way down and then selling on the way up. Yesterday, I was putting this together and I wanted to kind of show you, this is an ETH USDT bot that I have running. This is from yesterday. What you see is the red lines are the sell lines. So that's when I'm selling ETH. The green lines are when I'm buying ETH. The grid doesn't, it moves around dynamically based on where the price action is. But down below in the green, you'll see green dots and red dots. The green dots are where I bought ETH. The bot, I didn't do anything. I just set it up. And the red dots are where the bot sold ETH. So you can see as the price is moving up and down across the grid, it is buying and selling ETH, and you're making profit between the buy price and the sell price, depending on, there's several factors which we'll go through, which is the number of grid lines, the spacing, the high price, the low price, but we're buying and selling. And then as I was putting the presentation together, all of a sudden ETH took off. And right here around 4 o'clock, it was 3 to 4 o'clock, the price of ETH shot up, and I sold ETH 5-6 times. And then very quickly it came right back down and I bought ETH. So made about $150 on that jump in a matter of an hour, which was pretty fun while I was putting this together. So, all right. So what are the components of a grid bot? You'll need an exchange. So Coinbase, Binance, Kraken. Don't use Binance US. I'm not advocating do or don't, but take Pat's advice. You need a bot trading platform. That's the software that actually runs the bots and communicates with the exchange. You'll have to pick a trading pair. So on the left side of the slash, you have your base currency. So is that ETH or BTC? And on the right side, you have your quote currency. What are you buying it with? So effectively with the bot, you are buying and selling your base currency. So money, it's a lot of transactions, and I've got some tax software recommendations that I've used that have been really good, but you are basically buying and selling the base currency with the quote currency. So you have to pick one. I've been using ETH and USDT primarily because Binance has no trading fees, but I'm gonna have to change that. And then you need your amount you're going to invest. So how much are you going to let the bot work with? And then you'll have to set a low price. So what's the bottom? I don't want to buy ETH or your base currency BTC when it goes below this price. And I don't want to buy it if it goes above this price. So you set your grid lines, top and bottom of your grid. Then you set the number of grid lines that you're going to trade in between the high and low. And then there's a couple of features with the trailing up, trailing down. But the other big one is stop loss, which is if the price goes to a certain point, liquidate or sell all of my ETH or all of my base currency. As the price of the base currency is going down, you are buying more of that currency, of that coin. So I'm going to use ETH as an example. As the price of ETH is going down your grid, you're buying more ETH and you have less cash. You have less USD or USDT. At some point, you have to kind of believe in the coin because you could hold it for a long time. If it drops below a certain level, it'll hit a stop. You can put a stop loss where it will liquidate your current position and basically saying, I don't want to lose anymore. But you're not really losing if you believe in the coin, and it's going to keep going up and down. All right, from there, this is where I want to jump into a demo because I think it's going to really bring it home for this piece. So I'm going to jump out of here. So there's 2 pieces that I've set up before this before this call. I created an account at Kraken, which is a central exchange. I moved $500 into it so I can do this demo. I also set up an account with Bitsgap. So there are multiple trading platforms. I've used about 5 different ones. I really like Bitsgap. So it's bitsgap.com. They don't take any trading fees, but they charge a monthly or a yearly fee for you to run bots. And depending on how many bots you want to run, depends on the fee. But it's easily covered with as the bot it runs. And so it actually runs the bot. So those are your 2 pieces. We got Kraken, which is an exchange. You can use Binance, you can use Coinbase, you can use whoever you want. And then you have Bitsgap. Now, what we have to do, and this is the hardest part of getting this set up. It's not even that hard, but it's one step that is on the harder side. We have to connect Bitsgap to Kraken. So what happens is Bitsgap will use APIs to communicate with Kraken. So it will tell Kraken to create limit sale orders and limit buy orders, and those will trigger. Your money never leaves the exchange. It only goes. It's only API calls. So there are some other bot platforms that are more like an exchange, and they have their own wallet system where you move your money to that wallet, where Bitsgap and a couple of others, they just make API calls to your exchange. And it's really just putting in limit buy and sell orders. So I'm going to show you how to connect Bitsgap to Kraken. And this same process will work with Binance, it'll work with Coinbase, all of them. So first thing is you can go to My Exchanges, and here I'm logged into Bitsgap, okay? So I'm going to add a new exchange, and here is the list of exchanges you can work with. There's not a lot of US ones that, you can work with, but one of them is Kraken. So in Kraken, I select Kraken, and I have an API key and a secret key and IP addresses. We'll go through that in a minute. So now, okay, all right, I need to go to Kraken, and I need to authorize, or I need to create an API key. Again, this is the hardest part, but it's really not even that hard. If you go to, it doesn't matter what exchange you're on, you'll go to your account. It usually says My Account or something. And it'll either be under security or under settings, you'll see API. And so in that API, this is where we're going to create an API key. So these are the, public and private key, or the keys that allow secure communication between Bitsgap and Kraken. So I'm going to add a key, maybe. There we go. I always name these whatever platform I'm using. So I'm just call it Bitsgap. Now this permissions piece is the tricky part. You can easily search Bitsgap Kraken API keys, and they have an article. And every time I set it up, I just come back in here and I look and I say, okay, here are the commands it needs. You don't want to give the API too many commands, right? You don't want to give it withdrawal commands, right? But you want to it needs to be able to query and create orders and access the API. So I'm just comparing what's here to what's in Kraken. And again, Bitsgap has, for every exchange, it'll tell you exactly what to do. Now, my advice is to never have a not whitelist. So always whitelist your IP addresses. That way, only those IP addresses can talk to this API. If you don't do this, anyone in the world from anywhere can communicate. Now they have to have the private key and public key and that stuff. But if they get a hold of that, if you accidentally put it to code or put it in a chat session or email it, it's potentially compromised. And if you do that, go regenerate it. So now I'm going to go back to Bitsgap, and I'm just going to copy these IP addresses. I hit the copy, I'm coming over, just putting it in.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah.
Question about the IPs. Are those the IPs for the Bitsgap trading platform?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're not running a
for that
third-party
clarity.
VPS or anything?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, that's exactly right. Thanks for that clarity. These are the IP addresses that Bitsgap will use to communicate as the bot is running. All right. So now I'm going to click generate key, and don't worry, I'm going to delete these later, right after this is over. So you won't be able to steal money from me. Not that you would, but all right. So I'm waiting for my my authentication. So now I've authenticated. Now, okay. So this is the key part. This is what connects the two of them. You have your API key. I just say copy key. I come back to Bitsgap and I put the key here. I go back to Kraken and I get the private key and I put it here. And then I click connect. And so what now it's doing is it's testing those API keys And in just a second, you'll see I now have access to my $501 through Bitsgap. So that's done. That's all I have to do. That is the hardest part, is connecting Bitsgap to your exchange. So from there, I'm now ready to create my first bot and start trading. So there are multiple types of bots, grid bot, DCA, so dollar cost averaging, you got buy the dip and a combo. I'm really just focused tonight or today on the sideways bot and really, or the grid bot. And what I mean by sideways is this bot works really well if the price action is just grinding across the grid. It's not going way up. It's not going way down. It's just grinding across the grid, up and down at a steady pace. Grid bots do not work if the price action shoots the moon. So if it just shoots way up, grid bots don't work. And why they don't work is you're going to hit the top of your grid. And when you hit the top of your grid, you have no more money. You have no more ETH, or I'm going to keep going with ETH, but you have no more ETH. It's all, you've sold it all. So you're missing out. And if it goes way down or shoots, kind of bottoms out, I don't know what they call that, but if it bottoms out, same thing, you're out of cash and you have all this ETH or whatever that you can't sell. So it really works well for the just constant sideways motion, which is what we're in the middle of right now with crypto. We're getting some bumps, but not moon shooting. It's really just grinding right across, going up levels, down levels, and just continuing across. Okay, so I'm going to go through the grid bot. So all I did is I went over to, just real quick to go back because I was going fast. I've set up my exchange, and now I'm going to go, and you can click on, you can see your portfolio if you have a bunch of other coins or more than one exchange. You can put more than one exchange in here also. So I'm just going to go to bots, and I'm going to click grid bot. I'm going to select my grid bot. Now, there's a lot on this page, and we're going to go through all of it in detail. And if there's questions, please jump in. So first, I'm not going to use BTC because the price range is so high. I'm going to use ETH USDT. And you'll notice, well, I should explain that. Notice I have my exchange selected. So I have Kraken. If you have more than one exchange, you can select multiple exchanges. Then this is where we pick the trading pair. Okay, so this is an important piece. Is what are we trading? What are we going to be buying and selling? And I've spent a lot of time, and I'm sure there are people who have taken formal training that are looking and saying, hey, go use this trading pair. But really, you want to find a trading pair that has decent volatility. And you can search for them, and you can use any trading pair that your exchange has available. So where Pat was saying the better coins are outside the US, like if you tried to go to one of these other exchanges that they don't allow US customers, there are some really nice looking that have some really nice returns. Well, at least back tested, that we don't have access to, which is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is, I guess. And I've tried to get around it, and I couldn't get around it. So anyway, all right. So I can get registered, but I can't get verified. All right. So I'm gonna use, just for this demo, USDT. I'm gonna use ETH and USDT. So Tether and ETH. So my base currency is Ether, and my quote currency is USDT, which is just a stable coin. You can use USD, you can do whatever you want. You can actually use ETH, BTC, you can, whatever trading pair you want. So I'm going to select that. And what this is going to do is it redoes the graph, and I'm going to kind of see here. You can see there's a big old moonshot there that went way up the other this weekend, or last week, which was great. And I normally put in 1 day or 3 days just to try and see what the price action is. And so you're looking for combinations of you're looking for a pair that has decent action, that's moving up and down, so that you have buys and sells. And so that's the first thing. Well, I guess the first thing is what pair. So what trading pair am I using? The second one is how much am I investing? How much money am I going to put? I'm just going to do 100% just for this demo. And then you have to decide, okay, what's my high price and what's my low price? Okay, so when do I want it to stop trading, and at what height and what depth, right? So what is my top and bottom price, right? So you also have to take into account fees, that trading fees, maker taker fees, that go with from the exchange. So I'll look at this and go higher. I'll try to get to the top and the bottom, and I might go 7 days or 1 month and kind of look, okay, well, the price has really kind of changed. And so that's the other thing is I start and stop bots depending on where the price action is. This one right here, this on Thursday, that's last week, it went up big time and my bot went out of range. So I had to go and redo my bot and get it back in range. So it's not a set and forget either. It's kind of a keep an eye on what's going on, and you've got make sure you're in the trading range. If you're not making money. So you set the high price and the low price. So you can just figure out, where's the top of what's the tallest wick. I go a little above the tallest wick on the top, and the bottom, I might go somewhere in there. And you'll notice here it says I don't have enough money. So I'm like, okay, well, either I can put in more money or I can decrease the number of lines that come in, right? So my trading lines, that's the number of grid lines. I have a really tight range right there, right? So I can't have a bunch of lines because I don't have enough money between each line, because at each line on the green line, those are buy lines. So it's actually going to buy ETH, and it divides your money out between the grids so that your money is evenly dispersed amongst your top and your bottom. Now, it doesn't, you can have the top taller or the bottom lower. That doesn't matter. But for each buy line and a sell line, you've got to have money to trade there, or Ether to trade there. So and it'll buy ETH. You'll notice here it's saying we're going to buy 0.1138 of ETH, and we'll have $245 in USDT. So to buy, as it goes down the grid, it can buy more. And I'm going to kind of expand this out so you can see it.
Sorry, Eric.
Yeah.
I had full screen, so I didn't see the chat. ST is asking a couple of good questions here.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Hold or
tell me again.
Yeah. Okay. So the question are, do you recommend any training courses for learning all these bots? Does BitGap have any type of educational perspective or anything?
Yeah. So they do have a whole educational piece that you can read through. There's a program called The Plan, if you can get into it. I tried to get into it earlier this year and couldn't get into it. So I just went and read. There's just type grid bot trading into YouTube, and it'll be like a flood of
Was The Plan, wasn't whoever founded that and a guest on the podcast recently? Maybe not recently, but at some point, like that term sounds familiar.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't hear who it was. I know there's several people in the group that have taken it for sure.
Okay, maybe that's where I heard it from. And then ST had a second question. Can we try BitScap with before actually trading with real money? So does it have like a fake account?
Yeah, that's a great point. Up here, you can go into demo mode. So I'm click on the user up here and go into demo mode. And then in demo mode, I should have probably just done that. I was trying to show the grid trading, but I can create a new bot, and then it gives you like 40 grand that you can play with, and you can run these for a month each. And I did that. So when I first started doing this in January, I used this and was playing with it. Like, what are the right grid lines? What kind of profitability? And was creating different scenarios to look at that. So you can turn on demo mode. Yes.
Cool. And related, it looks like there was a back test button.
Yeah, I'll get to that.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I'll get to that in just a second. All right, let's go back USDT. Yes, I'm just kind of playing around, and I mess around with, depending on the wicks and what's going on, the candle wicks.
So to tug on this thread about setting up your support and resistance zones, if you know traditional stock charting, it sounds like the skill could kind of overlay onto crypto. Obviously, a very different beast.
100% though.
But,
yes. Yeah,
okay.
Right. Yes, that's exactly. Yeah, and this is not possible with stock trading. It's actually illegal to have bots with stock trading. So it's kind of a unique scenario, and maybe unique in time, opportunity, right? I'm sure at some point this will be illegal or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely. If you understand that stuff, this will make complete sense.
Gotcha. We had one more question come in from ST. Are the returns proportional to the time you can spend monitoring and readjusting your bots? Can you tell me a little bit more about that, ST? I think I get what you're saying. And I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
What kind of returns have people been making using these bots?
I can give you my returns, which I will in just a minute. Once I finish this demo, but what, I watch the bot, I'm like fanatical, like I'm excited about it. So you can actually see I've got a TV right there that's normally on that has the grid, and you don't have to, you could set it and watch it, check it every couple weeks. But you can't just set it forever and forget it. By no means. I called it passive income, but it is passive, but there's a little activity that you got to just keep up with it. And it's every couple of weeks, just keep an eye on it. Or if you see the price of ETH shoot way up, or your base currency shoot way up or shoot way down, you might want to take action. So it does require some work. The returns, I'll give you my personal returns. After I get through this, I got a slide on that, on what I've been making on it. We good on questions for now? Is that?
Yep, we're good.
Okay.
I'm taking notes here, so I got plenty for the end.
All right, good. All right. So the manual adjustment, so you can play with your top and bottom, right? So what's your high price, what's your low price? You can play with the number of grid lines, right? And some of this is going to be a factor of how much money do you have to invest, right? So I'm going to do 10 grid lines here. I can probably do 12, maybe 15. I kind of play around with it to see what the best configuration is for it. So the grid lines, your money will be distributed. And then as the price goes down, it's going to buy. As the price goes up, it's going to sell. Now let's look at this no trading zone real quick. I've got a slide on it, but I'll touch on it here. Basically what happens is this is an area where no trade has happened. And it's basically a multiple of two things. It is your grid percentage times 2. So it removes one line, top and bottom. And then it is your estimated trading fee times 2. So it tries to give a room for the price to move and you still remain profitable. If you have too many lines in there, and I've done other bot platforms where they let you put the lines wherever you want, and between the trading fees and and how close the grid lines are, your profitability is really low. And actually you can go negative with the trading fees. So Bitsgap doesn't let you do it. They force it. They don't, it's just no trading. What's interesting is as the price goes down, and let's say it buys at this line at 20.77, it's going to add another line, a sell line right here. So where you can see the arrow, the no trading zone is going to move up and down with the price as it goes. Does that make sense? So then there's a couple other features that you can turn on, and I'll hit the back test in just a minute. There's some limitations with the back test. Trailing up is a feature that Bitsgap has, so that if it hits this higher price, let's say it's right here and you're busting through your grid line, if you have currency available, it will buy and put another line right there. Well, when it's trailing up, you'll have currency available. It'll buy a line and try to keep up with it. Now, what I've found is if it's shooting really fast, like this did, it can't keep up. It's just happening too fast. The price is moving up too fast. If the price is just gradually moving up, it can keep up with it. So that's a scenario where one of the questions, how often you have to monitor it. I keep a close eye on it. I'm making pretty good returns, so I want to watch it. But you just have to know where your top price is, so you know to go make an adjustment, or your bottom price. And trailing up could help you with that if it's not shooting up really fast. So if you want to not have to worry about it as much, you can turn on trailing up and it'll just follow the price up and keep adding buy lines as the price goes up.
Question on trailing up and more in trailing down as well. Does the exchange have to support that type of contingent trade or more advanced trade to be able to execute, or does
I don't think
Bitsgap
so,
handle
because
that?
Bitsgap is just puts in a buy and
Yeah.
a limit order. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Same with trailing down. So on pump protection, I actually had this on a bot this weekend, no, Thursday. This happened Thursday and it turned off. So that feature is if it's pumping really fast, just straight line up, it will not trade. So you can turn that on if you want. And all these have definitions. So trailing down is if you want it to continue to buy as it goes down. Now, in the trailing down scenario, you have to have available quote currency. So you have to have cash to buy it as it goes down. If you don't, let's say you put $500 in there and it continues and you've spent all 500, you're down to this line right here, this last one, and you've spent all 500, you bought $500 worth of ETH. As it drops down into here, if you have some available cash in there, another 500 or something, or 100, it will continue to buy going down as it trails down. And then you can put, hey, where do I want to stop trailing down? And just stop trading. And so it doesn't close the bot. So if you drop below, if you have trailing down off and you drop below your bottom line, it doesn't turn off. It just pauses. There's nothing for it to do until it comes back up. And in February, I had that happen with ETH. It went down below my line. It stayed down for a little bit and it came right back up and started trading again. That's where some of the risk of this is if the coin is going down, 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 and it's not going to come up for a while, you're holding that currency long. So that base currency, you're holding it unless you decide to liquidate it. So that's trailing down. Stop loss is, let's say, is usually lower. I'm probably going to zoom out here. You can see stop loss is below my trailing down, and you can set what that value is. When it hits the stop loss, that's when you're saying, I don't want to buy it anymore and I want out. And it'll liquidate all of it for you. So it'll sell whatever base currency back into the main currency. All right. So then take profit is, okay, when I hit a certain profit level, let's say it's doing really good, I can just close the bot. So that's a little feature. So, and that includes bot profit and unrealized profit. So I'm going to pause right there if there are any questions that I can answer real quick before we start this bot. Oh, well, real quick, let me hit back test. So you can back test your bot. You can put in your sample trading fee and your timeline, and you can look back and it'll estimate it. One of the limitations that I've seen with this is, I guess it doesn't let me do 7 days or anything. Is you'll notice if the price is moving up and down quite a bit, you can have a bigger grid. It misses it. So you can see back here around the 16th, it missed it. The price moved, but you can see where it was going and what it was doing. I've been getting better results than this monthly. And even when I back test my exact setup, I'm getting better results. But it's a feature you can look at for sure. And it also, well, that's it. Okay, so you can back test all you want, different price ranges, and it'll show you the trades and the orders that are active and how much you're selling it for. Okay, before I start this little bot, any questions?
No, well, yeah, that was, I really appreciate the back test. That looks awesome. I would be completely terrified of pulling the trigger on something that didn't have a back test feature or the paper trade feature. So that's really awesome to see. I was going through my list of questions here, and just by talking, you kind of answered a lot of them. Okay. So let's see. Does BitsGap as a platform cost money? And if so, how much?
It does cost money. It is. Let's see if I can. Well, I was trying to open that in a new tab. I'm trying not to. Let's go. Let's go to pricing. Sorry.
While you're pulling that up, I can answer a question I'm pretty sure is no. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, so it depends on the number of bots you want. If you want a couple of bots, and then there's some additional features in some of these like future bots and stuff like that. So it's about $23 a month.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. And they don't charge any trade fees. Now the exchange charge trade fees, obviously. Well, Binance doesn't on any ETH trade, but that's a whole different story. So yeah, that's the pricing. Not too bad.
So actually, that has one of my other questions. I think I need to double check on this. I think Coinbase recently offered a subscription service. Okay, you already looked into this, didn't you?
Yep. That's where I'm going next, by the way. Okay. So yeah.
So to clue everybody else in, the Coinbase is basically saying, yeah, you can either pay us whatever our percentage fees are for trades, or you can pay us, what is it, like $20 a month or something, and have 0% fees. So for something that's high frequency trading like this, that's a no-brainer, man.
Yep. And you'll see the trades that I've been doing, the trades that I have, I mean, I got 1,000 trades, like it just,
Yeah.
it's constant. And when there's no fees, to your point, you can add more grid lines. So you can make less profitability per trade, but you're not paying a fee. So you're just getting more activity.
You can
Um,
snipe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Okay. What about leverage? That's more a function of your exchange.
That's your exchange. So there are other ones, so like coin rule, and I'll go through some of those. You can do leverage, and 3 commas, you can do leverage. A lot of the good leverage ones are offshore.
Yeah.
Obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does GridsBot or any other program like this that you're aware of have DEX support?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Not all
Yeah,
the ones
I
I've
figured.
looked at.
Yeah. Okay. And then all this stuff is treated as short-term capital gains, just like a stock, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
There's always the tax man's always coming.
Yep. And then the last question I have, which is probably a lot larger, and I think it's kind of what ST was referring to as well. How in God's name do you identify support and resistance zones, select which type of DCA? How do you determine your levels for the grid lines and all of that? That seems like quite the art/science.
Yes.
Okay. That's all I got.
Well, I mean, it comes down to the trading pair and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Like, that's the other thing I'll show down here. They have some back tested results that you can play with, that show you some of the combos and the settings, for different bots and different exchanges. So depending on your exchange and your bot, there's lots of different back tested, setup.
Yeah.
Right. But you got to be careful. You don't want to get into, well, the old days we called them shit coins. You don't want to get into one that has got may have high volatility, but it might make you some money, but can you liquidate it? Can you get your money? Is it liquid?
Right.
So you got to be careful. My strategy, I'm pretty conservative. Well, anybody that's in crypto they're not conservative, but I'm sticking with the big ones like ETH and BTC. Even if I'm making less money, I know of people that are making 40% and 20% a month, and I'm not that risky. I want to go a little more.
That's a really good point too. So I was thinking while you're talking, I'm thinking about rules for myself to put on with this.
Yeah.
I'm only going to trade pairs where I'm okay with owning either coin.
You really have to, yes, because you could own it, a lot of it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to take coins that have either US stable coin pairs or Bitcoin or Ethereum pairs as well, so that if I need to get the money out of crypto relatively quickly, I have good fiat off ramps.
Correct. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yes, those are great. Yeah, and the other thing that you really just have to believe in the coin, or you don't have to believe in it. You just have to be able to get your money out, right? Because you could hold it for a while if it goes down. Well, that was sorry, I lost my train of thought. One of the things is I took some of the coin ETH that I had in a hardware wallet, and I just put it to work. Now, what I realized, and it's kind of a duh, is if ETH moonshots on me or goes way up real quick, I would have been better having it in my wallet versus just as ETH, because I'm flipping back and forth, because it's converting some of it to the quote currency like USDC or USDT, and then so you don't have as much of it unless you're at the top of the grid. So that's something to take into account. I don't have all of my crypto doing this. I've got a good bit, but not all.
That's a good point too. I think we had one last question in here before we open it up just to people on voice from ST, the superstar here. Another off-topic question: are you leaving your crypto on exchanges or moving to hardware wallets? If leaving on exchanges, which exchanges? That is definitely a larger topic. Personally, I do have some crypto on exchanges. It's a de minimis amount, just like where I have my recurring buys for US dollars coming through. But everything else is either on a Web3 based wallet like MetaMask or a Ledger, and then some random stuff on XDeFi because I'm playing around with Thorchain. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, the only thing I have on the exchanges is this.
Okay.
Everything else is locked away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions?
Oh,
on
and
voice?
he said what exchanges. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
use Binance, but I understand that. Kraken is a really good one. Coinbase, obviously. So any of those. And there's a lot of exchanges, but most of them are not accessible to US citizens right now. So until the US government becomes a little more crypto friendly or whatever, the options are really limited.
Yeah. How about ErisX? I'm looking them up now. I've not heard of these guys.
Never heard of them. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start this bot. So what happens with this bot while you're looking that up is it's going to buy some ETH, and it's also going to place limit and sell orders, limit buy orders and limit sell orders on the grid, and you can see it populating right now. So let that spin up, and I only did 15 lines, and I'm going to turn this off and whenever we're done here, but wanted to kind of show it in action and a few other cool things. Okay, so now the grid is set up. You can see the performance. So let's say I logged in. I can look at trading. I come to my grid. I can click on my bot. It's still adding the buy line. So you'll see these green lines turn red in just a minute. As it's processing it. So it takes a few minutes to get set up. But you can look at what's happening. What's your daily bot profit? What's your average daily bot, or what's your total profit and your total daily profit? So one thing I want to make sure is clear is the money that you're making from each trade is paid to you in the quote currency. So if you're trading USDT, ETH USDT, the profit you're making between the buy and the sell, the dip and the rip, the below and the high, the low and the high, is paid to you in your quote currency. So USDT. So what you'll see as if once a trade happens is you'll see the bot profit go up. And you'll also see what they call unrealized gain or unrealized profit here. And that is the increase in value of the coin that you're holding. You don't realize it until you sell it. But if you still have buy lines going up or sell lines going up, and as that price is going up, the currency that you're holding, the ETH you're holding, is going up in value. So that total profit, potential profit goes up. But really what I focus on is the bot profit. I look at the profit of the bot to know how much money am I making. And when I tell you the numbers that I've been doing, it is based on that bot profit only. I care about the unrealized profit or the gain in the asset, but I'm not as worried about that piece. I really want the bot profit because that's money I can reinvest or I can pull out and use for other means. So you'll see that the grid just finished populating, and you'll see we had to buy some ETH because it's got to sell some ETH. And you'll see it's just going to move along here up and down. And whenever there's a sell, my bot profit will go up. Make sense? So a couple other features I look at this trading feature here. This is what I put up on my screen most of the day because I'm like fanatical about it. I like to watch it. And I usually just watch the one day and see what it's doing as it moves across. So this is a better view where you can really see, here's how much I'm buying, 0.016 ETH. Here's how much I'm selling as I go up. I don't think it shows the stop loss or the trailing down. I'm not sure if I have those on. But as it moves across up and down the grid, it's going to buy and sell.
Sorry, Eric. So these are actual open orders right now.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a good point. Kraken, I'm not as familiar with Kraken. We should be able to see the limit order. Yeah, here they are. You can see, here's where I bought ETH, and then there should be limit orders that are set up. They are set up. I don't know how to see it. Oh, I know how to see them. I'll show you right here. Sorry. We can go into the bot. I can click on the bot, and then I can go into bot orders, and you can see, okay, here's where I had to buy ETH. So I have ETH to sell. And then here are my open orders. So I have my initial limit orders, and then here are my sell orders, and here are my buy limit orders. All these are limits.
Gotcha. Okay. And then if I wanted to get really fancy schmancy, and I think I know better than the bot, and I wanted to add my own buy and sell lines on the grid, how would I do that?
You cannot in this
Okay.
application. Now, there's another company called Coin.io a coinrule.io, which I just started playing with this weekend, and it allows if then logic. It is kind of amazing. I already lost $300, so, so I don't know. Buyer beware. Know what you're doing. But if you have a trading background or this kind of stuff, you like it, coinrule.io is pretty incredible with the if then logic. And you can look at like the moving average 9 or the moving average 100 and all this stuff, all these ifs and thens, and really cool. This Bitsgap is really, it's just, that's all it does is put the grid for you and it goes to work. And really it's not doing much. It places the buy and sell limit orders, come down here. But then as a sell happens or a buy happens, it then replaces it. So if you have a sell, it's going to add a buy. If you have a buy, it's going to add a sell. So it's just going to, pardon me, keep moving that grid around.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Okay. Pausing just see if there's questions or comments or anything. Okay. That was the basis of it. I've got a few more slides to go through. Before I jump back to there, Pat, do you have any other follow-up questions or anybody have any follow-up questions?
I'm good. This is really awesome.
Okay, so we talked about the no trading zone, and that trading zone is going to move around. Again, it is 2 times your grid step and 2 times your trading fee zone. Okay, potential risks, the coin could go down and you're going to be holding it long. The coin with low trading volume, so you can't, or even liquidity. Basically, all the other risks of crypto come into play. I'm not even going to go through those in detail. But this piece, people probably most interested in it. What are my personal results? I started grid trading doing this in January, and I was using the demo mode. I put in a couple $100. I was really just trying to see how it worked. And then on March 15th, I convinced my wife that this was a good idea. And so I put a significant amount of capital into it. And I traded pretty much on ETH USDT, ETH USDC, and a few others. I did some Solana for a little bit, and some FTM. In 30 days, I made $6,500 on bot profit. That is not asset appreciation. So that's not the increase in price. That is what I made on bot profit. And I withdrew that. One of the things that my wife, Julie, said is, I want you to withdraw the money and I want to see it in my bank account. So, all right, we'll do that, which I did. I withdrew it all out and into my bank account. So my ROI is about 7.6% right now in 1 month. It was March 15th that I started that bot. I have been using Binance.us because there are no trading fees on ETHUSD, but I had already planned to move to Coinbase and pay the subscription so I can trade any of them. The other thing is I'm very bullish on ETH. So even if it went down, I would hold it. I bought ETH the last time it went way down. I bought it at 880. So I'll buy it all the way down. So that's the other thing too, is I feel like, yeah, I'm not conservative because I am in ETH, meaning I know that's risky, or I'm in crypto, I know that's risky, but I'm not doing crazy trading pairs. I'm doing trading pairs that I would keep if I got them. And I'm getting a decent return, almost 8% return in a month. I'm happy with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's other people, I know people in the group that are getting 12, 14, but they're doing some trading pairs I wouldn't do. Personally. So
yeah. Do you know?
And that's real, by the way, real quick, that $6,500 is real cash. It is in my bank account.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure that's clear. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What that 30 days, you know what ETH did comparatively over that time frame?
It was pretty volatile. Yes. Yeah. I haven't back tested earlier, but it's been pretty volatile. I mean, yeah. It hasn't been crazy. Thursday of last week was crazy when the Shapella everyone went crazy over it, whatever. I thought it was going to drop to hell, but it went way up. That was the biggest run I saw, was last Thursday. But gotcha. It's been fairly volatile. What's interesting pattern I've noticed, weekends are really quiet, like maybe 2 trades. And then Monday comes and it either goes up good, down. I don't care. I don't care if it goes down. I don't care if it goes up. I just want it that up and down. Like when I see buy orders come out, I get alerts on my phone because, anyway, when I see buy orders, I'm like, yes, that's future sales that I get. Right.
Right.
So yeah.
So this 30 days was that, I'm assuming from yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually, well, it was from the 15th, which was Saturday.
Gotcha. Okay.
Saturday. Yeah, I went March 15th to April 15th.
Gotcha. I'm just trying to get.
That
okay.
was my window, and I calculated my profit from there.
Got
I
it.
actually removed it and put it in my bank account.
Gotcha. Okay. Sorry. I'm on a chart over here, just trying to find out what that return
Oh.
would be like.
Okay.
And it's not the same, like if you just hold, because
Nope.
it's just different.
Well, in that, I took a percentage of my ETH and I'm trading with it now. And
Right.
if it moonshot, so my thought is, one thing I'm watching for is if I hit that top line and it looks like it's moonshotting, I'm going to stop. I'm going to buy all my money in ETH and wait for it to go up. Right. Because I want, if it's doing a massive appreciation, this isn't a good strategy. If it is just chopping sideways, this is a great strategy to put your ETH to work.
Right. And that's what I was trying to check out here. So it looks
Yeah.
like, just using some TradingView data on Coinbase, it would have been, if you just held, it's a 24% return. But like you're saying, that ETH's been on a rip the past month.
Yeah.
7% a month in anything. Shit. I mean, nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty good.
Dude,
So-
a month. That's
Right.
Yeah.
So,
this
yeah,
is proving
obviously-
ground for me. Yeah. Like,
Yeah. So
I'll take 5% a month. Hell, let's go.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like what some of the Bitcoin miners were promising back in the day.
Yeah. Back in the day.
So okay, so it doesn't outperform a buy and hold, but I would love to see the data of a true month of channel and then a month of downward trend.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye out for.
Well,
and
I can
probably
follow
figure
back
that-
up. We can follow back up. I'm going to keep doing this strategy.
Yeah.
I like the bot profit generating. And like I said, I didn't take all my ETH and did this. I took a percentage of it and said, all right, or my crypto, I'm going to put this to work. I still have stuff over here that if it moonshots, I'm good to go.
Yeah. I'm not saying that 7% to like belittle it or anything.
No,
'cause,
no,
like
yeah,
you
no,
have
I
that
get you.
pot of gold that you're holding long term.
Yeah.
You're still getting that 24% there, and it's a different paradigm and a different use case for that money here.
Right. And my goal is I'm using some of this money, right? So I'm proving this. Okay, can I generate some cash to help me with my bills or whatever, right? And then
Yeah.
I'm using tax strategies with real estate and to offset some of the taxes that go with it.
You going to buy more ETH with your profits from ETH?
Actually, you know what? I'm buying gold. Believe it or not, I'm buying
Oh,
gold.
okay.
Chris Oligard turned me on to some gold, so I'm buying some gold. All right, so my last slide here. I've been using CoinLedger and CryptoTax Calculator IO. Those are great ways you just give them your wallet address and it'll go mine it all out. And CoinLedger IO produced the tax form for me, so that was pretty cool. So the trading platforms I've used is Bitsgap. This Pionex, I used that for a while. That is more of it's an exchange. So they do charge trading fees, and that's the exchange versus, and I didn't feel comfortable putting my money in there. I like my money at a more recognized, bigger exchange. 3 Commas is one I used. It's good. It doesn't have the no trading block, and so you got to be a little more careful. I didn't like the interface to it. And then the one that I started playing with this weekend is CoinRule, RULE. It is some really advanced trading stuff with if-then logic. That's pretty unique. It's pretty awesome. I'm gonna be digging more into that.
I noticed, so I'm trying to set you up here, Erica. I noticed in some of these platforms there are referral codes, so I would feel free to include your referral links in here.
I'm happy to do that. That wasn't my intent. I'm not trying to make money on this, right? I found a strategy where in a month I made $6,000, and I was like, damn, like,
Yeah.
that's not money to scoff at. I mean, that's something you can do something with. So if you're interested in a referral code, I can just email me or whatever, and I'm happy to provide it. But that was not my intent.
Of course,
they do all.
But you might as well.
Yeah. So if you're interested in signing up, or if you want more info, you want to, hey, look, help me get it started and going. I'm as part of LFI. I'm happy to help get people going on it.
Yeah,
because it is it's a real way to make money. And it's not, I mean, it's getting the exchange set up and then finding the trading pairs, and there's some trial and error. You got to figure out what works for you and what lines, you get it running. Don't be scared to just get one running. Put it in
Yeah.
demo mode and get it running. You know what I mean? And see what
Yeah.
happens.
Back test it. Yeah,
Yeah,
20
back
bucks
test
is
it.
cheaper than most of these syndications. So if you do that,
Yeah.
your testing and back testing doesn't work out, you're out 23 bucks, whatever.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
So-
that's how many lattes. Question for you on slide 12 with the taxes.
Well, yep.
For CoinLedger or CryptoTaxCalculator.io, did you have to correct missing cost basis on a lot of random tokens? Because I have had a nightmare of a time on other
A
tax
few,
platforms. Okay.
Crypto Tax Calculator IO was better
Okay.
than CoinLedger. I did have to do a little bit of that.
Okay.
This year I used CoinLedger, and then I was listening to a podcast and they talked about Crypto Tax Calculator as an ad. So I was like, let me go check it out.
Yeah.
And it did better
Cool.
than CoinLedger.
Cool. Okay. ST has a question about, hey, maybe we should create a mini mastermind crypto grid trading bot group and see how we can get better. I'm totally in for this. I'm probably going to put
Let's
a couple
go.
grand in. So we'll include a blurb about that in the after action email to kind of gauge people's interest there as well. Yeah. Dude, this was really awesome. This is a real applicable way to make crypto money, make real big boy money, and not be as subject to the vulnerability and risks of like DeFi and other stuff that's out there.
Yeah, and it seems like such a unique opportunity in time, right? Because
yeah,
in my opinion, and you can, I'm interested in your take, Pat. Seems like we're going to be just this sideways chop for a while. We're going to get some ups, we're going to get some downs, until the macro really changes. It's just this sideways chop that we can make some money.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, crypto was the first asset class to completely get decimated when there were recession fears on the horizon. And I mean, it's speculative money, so it makes sense. People would pull the speculative money first. Totally get that. And I think until that cloud of uncertainty clears, we will be in a sideways chop for a while. And I don't know what that while means. Is it until the war is over? Is it until the interest rates come down? Who knows? But time will tell. Anybody got any questions, general discussion topics, anything like that? We're over time already, but I got a little bit.
Same.
I read somewhere that BlackRock CEO Larry Fink is secretly hoarding a lot of crypto. I read it somewhere. I heard something similar about Jamie Dimon. I mean, like I heard some people that were on his like PowerPoint team. He would yell out there to the, hey, make me a PowerPoint about whatever. Like they were saying like, whenever Jamie Dimon said, if you trade crypto, you're fired, that would basically be the entire team of people he was talking to. And that kind of made him reconsider some things. I do kind of agree, ST. I think Bitcoin is, and probably ETH at this point might be too big to fail. Just because since 2016, 2017, that crash, we had a lot of the big corporate players building fiat on-ramps there and inroads. So the money pump has been connected to those currencies for sure. What else we got?
All right, well, that was easy.
Yeah. You want to stop the recording there?
Yeah, sir. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll do that and then ask one more round of questions.